You look lovely.
Thank you, so do you.
Before we get into it,
Won't need these anymore. Can crowns go in the recycling bin?
Toss them on the goodwill pile. Out with the old. In California, we're just a regular couple living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. Woo. But not too far.
Down with the monarchy. We deserve our privacy.
In this controversy reignited after Meghan signed a gift with her HRH after stepping away from full-time royal duties.
Well, if Meghan and Harry can quit their family, you can too.
No,
She never stops whining.
no,
They're ridiculous.
no.
That is so beautiful.
No.
They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore, but I'm gonna put it all over my stationery and on the gifts that I give to my friends.
They thought they buried the story in 2020. A quiet deal, a royal shrug, no lawyers, no headlines. Just a handshake in Sandringham and a vow, the titles stay locked away. But that vow didn't age well, not when Meghan Markle started handing out homemade jam, signed HRH.
You dropped off this gift basket with ice creams, homemade strawberry sauce to put on top of the ice cream.
The card was barely visible, a soft glinting compliments note tucked beside a jar of strawberry preserves. But for Buckingham insiders, it wasn't sweet, it was a shot, because those 3 letters, Her Royal Highness, were never supposed to resurface. Not on paper, not in print, and definitely not tied to a woman who walked away from the monarchy, cameras rolling.
I find it a little bit cringe to give a gift to a close friend and sign it Her Royal Highness.
Why even in private? She's using that full title, Her Royal Highness.
Yet here we are, the title's back, not on a press release or a podcast name. That would be too obvious. It returned on a ribbon-wrapped favor, photographed during a friendly interview. Blink and you'd miss it. But insiders didn't miss it. William didn't miss it. He saw it for what it was. A signal, a gauntlet, a royal red flag.
Prince William, he's reportedly furious after it emerged that Meghan Markle is still using her HRH title despite agreeing to drop the title when the Sussexes left royal duties.
Meghan Markle has been very brazen recently with the use of the HRH.
Because in palace politics, nothing is accidental. Every honorific, every seal, every flick of the pen has weight. And Meghan, they say, knows that all too well.
According to a report in OK magazine, Prince William plans on stripping both Harry and Meghan of their HRH titles once he becomes king.
Let's rewind to January 2020. The Sandringham Summit. Queen Elizabeth, Prince Charles, William, and Harry. A closed-door crisis meeting to sort out the mess now immortalized as Megxit. The agreement? Clean. Polite. Deceptively simple. Harry and Meghan would step back from royal duties. In return, they'd give up the HRH style.
She's slaughtered this weekend because there were some business cards in the back of one of her podcasts. She's still using her royal title, HRH, despite our late Queen warning her again.
Inside Sandringham, the mood wasn't just tense. It was surgical. William stared down across the table, lips pressed. Charles fidgeted with a pen. And Harry? He kept looking at the door. Aides say Meghan waited in another room, pacing, while the family carved out what looked like a polite exit, but felt more like exile. Not stripped, not revoked, just paused. But the wording mattered. Will not use their HRH titles, not because they weren't entitled to it, but because it was part of the deal.
It was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it. Basically, the HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family.
An unspoken clause: stay quiet, stay gone, and the palace won't push further. At first it worked. Press releases dropped the titles. Book covers didn't dare. Even Netflix danced around it. But behind the scenes, insiders were already watching, waiting.
It's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honour to have an HRH.
Absolutely.
So the fact that she's continued to use this HRH when they've been instructed not to, I think is absolutely infuriating in Buckingham Palace.
Then came the post. April 2024. Meghan reposts a thank you note from Ukraine's Vice Prime Minister. The salutation? Your Royal Highness. She didn't correct it. She didn't disclaim it. She just shared it. Glossy, proud, and very much public.
Meghan has said through a representative today that she is not using the HRH title. We have literal, tangible proof.
40 minutes into the podcast, this little picture, quite a grainy picture, flashed up, which shows a basket of, homemade preserves with a card on it, HRH, Duchess of Sussex, Meghan.
To her followers, it was a kind gesture. To palace aides, it was the sound of a fuse hissing back to life. Because there's no such thing as coincidence when it comes to titles, especially not the one Meghan swore to shelve.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile living in luxury in California while the rest of the world's a cost of living crisis, moaning and whining about an institution which gave you the titles on which you now trade millions of dollars. What are you talking about? What stakes?
Some say this didn't start with the jam. It started with Oprah, with Harry and Meghan tossing palace secrets into prime time, and William, blindsided, forced to smile through a royal engagement the next morning. The firm never forgot that. And William? He never forgave it. The HRH wasn't just a title. It was a fuse. Relit the moment Meghan opened her mouth on national TV.
They want it both ways. These people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention. And then let me write a book about how much we don't want attention.
Brat, to be honest, and very, very entitled.
The hypocrisy is beyond anything I've ever seen.
According to royal sources, William has made up his mind. The day he becomes king is the day HRH vanishes from Harry and Meghan's lives. Officially, permanently. No more personal use, no more loopholes, no more jars of rebellion-branded jam. And here's the twist. He might actually have the power to do it. See, HRH isn't like a dukedom. It's not bound by Parliament. It's a style, a symbolic signature granted by the monarch, which means it can be erased just as easily.
It's hardly a secret that the palace has already conducted secret meetings with members of the government to discuss putting the plan into action.
With King Charles on his way out, Prince William is expected to take over the crown. And apparently at the top of his list is to say, "Peace out, Meghan, you're done." And he plans to formally strip Meghan Markle of her royal title.
Royal watchers say it's unprecedented. Legal experts call it murky, but aides are already preparing two playbooks, Charles's soft glove approach and William's scorched earth strategy. And they're not just theory crafting. Sources say actual language for the letter's patent, the royal instrument to revoke HRH, is already being workshopped.
Harry and Meghan, they have an issue when it comes to their memory and when it comes to the truth.
Now, the king can end this feud, but not by shaking hands with this treacherous little weasel, but by stripping him and his wife of the royal titles that they love to use for commercial gain without doing any of the work.
Harry's digging an even bigger hole for himself here.
Well, I think he's dug so deep now, he'll strike water any day now.
He's a duplicitous, self-centered, vile, disloyal hypocrite.
But why now? Why this? Because titles aren't just names. They're power, they're branding, and for the Sussexes, they're currency. For most people, HRH is just a prefix. But in brand Sussex, it's the entire premise, the implied endorsement. The quiet signal to investors, buyers, media execs. This isn't just Meghan. This is royalty-adjacent Meghan.
I'm thrilled, as you are, I'm sure, that Netflix has renewed Harry and Meghan's deal.
Well, supposedly, but it's maybe just a Meghan deal.
Oh, a Meghan deal. Well, that makes it much better not.
Every product, every pitch, every platform gleams a little brighter with those three letters nearby. You think Meghan's new lifestyle label, as ever, is just about strawberry preserves? Think again. Insiders say the HRH stamped gift landed on a brand partner's podcast. That's not a coincidence. That's placement. A soft flex. a subtle royalty halo right before a product drop.
Well, by all accounts, the third series of As Ever with Love Meghan is being commissioned. Ted Sanderos, the big cheese at Netflix, says that Meghan's a bit of a rock star.
And when your Netflix deal is up for renewal and your new show is riding your global clout, every shred of prestige counts, which is exactly why William's circle is calling this Meghan's strategic slip.
It has been several months now since our beloved Queen has died. Our Canadians are finding it hard to go on. All Canadians, that is, except for our first guest, the Prince and his wife. We want privacy! We want privacy! Hey, thanks for having us on the show. It's so awesome to be here. It's great. So let me start with you, sir. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where?
They think she knew what she was doing, that the compliments card wasn't careless, it was calculated. And if that's true, then someone's been lying for years. Because the whole premise of Megxit, the idea of a quiet life, of stepping back, crumbles when you're still signing gifts like you're wearing the crown. And here's what nobody noticed. Even when the card was spotted, no apology came. No clarification. Just silence. That silence? It said more than any press release ever could. So what happens now? William ascends, and the titles fall. That's the plan. One stroke of the pen, and HRH disappears from their passports, their websites, their letterhead. No hearings, no debate, just a courier and a sealed envelope. But the fallout? That's the real storm.
A new poll by Find Out Now has revealed that most of the public is supporting the king in this family feud, ongoing family feud, after Harry's bombshell BBC interview. It follows the Court of Appeal's decision to not overturn the ruling on his security in the UK.
Insiders say Harry's team is already exploring legal pushback, human rights angles, media narratives, leaks. There's even talk that Meghan might spin the move as proof the royals never accepted her, weaponizing the moment for maximum sympathy. Lawyers on both sides are reportedly digging into ancient precedents, some buried deep in Victorian legal code. The palace wants to avoid a constitutional headache. The Sussex camp wants to frame it as retaliation. One Montecito aide reportedly called it a reckless move that could backfire internationally. And back in London, Kensington insiders say they're ready for it. If it goes to court, it goes to court, one said. At least the truth will be on record. Because if they lose the HRH, the Sussex brand risks collapse. No palace seal, no royal proximity, just another celebrity couple with a controversial Netflix contract and a jam label. But others say it could supercharge them, make them the exiled rebels, the outsiders, the royals who said no and paid the price. Either way, the move is coming. And palace insiders are bracing for war. Because this time, it's not about who gets invited to the coronation. It's about who gets to call themselves royal when the cameras stop rolling. And once William becomes king, there will be no more half in, half out, no more courtesy titles, no more games. One aide claims William already knows how it'll go. First week as king, early morning meeting. He signs the papers, hands them to a courier. No public announcement, just a quiet update to the royal website. The HRH titles vanish overnight. And Montecito, they'll find out when the mail arrives. But even the people closest to him say there's a flicker behind the discipline. One source described William after seeing the HRH jam photo. He stared at it for 10 seconds, then closed his laptop without a word. No outburst, no sarcasm, just a pause. As if he couldn't believe it was still happening, as if the fuse had burned too long. And now he was just waiting for the bang. Just one clean stroke. The titles go dark. And the House of Windsor draws its battle lines once again. Stay close. Because the next time you see HRH the Duchess of Sussex in print, it might be on a collector's item, not a compliments card. And if William has his way, that little jam jar might go down as the last straw